In 1998, a shocking historical discovery sent shockwaves through the archaeological community and sparked a series of terrifying conspiracy theories. During the restoration of a house at 36 Craven Street, London, where Benjamin Franklin lived for nearly 2 decades from 1757 to 1775, archaeologists uncovered a chilling secret hidden within the building. A mysterious burial pit, approximately 1 square meter in size and 1 meter deep, contained over 1,200 human bone fragments. These remains belonged to at least 15 individuals, including both children and adults, all bearing signs of primitive 18th century surgical procedures and anatomical dissections. When experts conducted radiocarbon dating, the results showed that the bones dated back to the exact period when Franklin resided there. This immediately raised horrifying questions. Did Franklin know about these bodies? Could this be evidence of a gruesome series of crimes, a secret anatomy laboratory, or even traces of occult rituals? Benjamin Franklin was a brilliant scientist and an outstanding statesman. His connections to the scientific and medical communities of the time only deepened the mystery. He was one of the founders of the University of Pennsylvania, which housed the first medical school in the United States. Franklin was also a close friend of William Hewson, a pioneering anatomist considered the father of hematology. Hewson had established an anatomy school within the Craven Street house, where he conducted experiments on human bodies. But the crucial question remains, where did these bodies come from? And why were they buried under the house rather than being disposed of legally? The first and most haunting theory is that these skeletons are evidence of sinister sacrificial rituals carried out by secret societies. The Freemasons and the Hellfire Club, two infamous and enigmatic organizations of the 18th century, were rumored to perform occult rites in pursuit of ultimate knowledge or to worship mysterious entities. Some believe that the bones were not merely remnants of an anatomical lab but proof of a blood-soaked series of rituals, where victims were sacrificed to serve a dark purpose. Some skeletons showed signs of precise incisions, sharp cuts on skulls and ribs, as if they had undergone a specific process. Particularly disturbing was the high number of children's bones among the remains, as children were often regarded as the purest offerings in occult sacrifices. Another theory suggests that the site was a clandestine anatomy laboratory operated by William Hewson, a renowned anatomist and Franklin's close friend. Hewson was a pioneer in hematology and conducted numerous scientific experiments at the house. At the time, human dissection was a sensitive and often prohibited practice. Legal cadavers for medical research were in extremely short supply, forcing many doctors and scientists to turn to illicit sources, grave robbers, known as resurrectionists. These individuals stole bodies from cemeteries or purchased corpses of executed prisoners. This raises a plausible scenario. Could Franklin have tolerated an illegal anatomy lab within his home? Did he know what was happening beneath his floorboards, or was he actively involved in these unsettling experiments? But if this was merely a laboratory, why were the bodies buried instead of being properly disposed of? One theory suggests that Hewson and his associates wanted to avoid detection. If caught, they could have faced charges of grave robbery or unauthorized dissection. To protect themselves, they might have chosen to bury the remains under the house rather than risk transporting them outside. This highlights the dangers of anatomical research at the time and the desperate measures scientists took to deepen their understanding of the human body. Forensic evidence indicates that the bones bear marks of surgical tools, saws, and 18th century dissection methods. Some skulls show traces of trepanning, a primitive technique used to treat neurological disorders or perform mystical rituals. Among the 15 skeletons found, at least 6 belonged to children, further fueling speculation about their true origins. Were they really subjects of scientific research, or is there an even darker explanation? Another aspect to consider is Franklin's prominent membership in the Freemasons, an organization often accused of engaging in secretive rituals. While the Freemasons are known for their dedication to knowledge and progress, rumors of their arcane ceremonies have long intrigued and unsettled people. Some researchers speculate that the bodies found beneath Franklin's house could be linked to initiation rites or experiments on life and death, an obsession shared by many secret societies throughout history. However, whether these remains are evidence of occult sacrifices or merely an underground anatomy lab, one major question remains unanswered. Why did Franklin never mention these activities? As a meticulous record keeper, he left behind numerous documents detailing his scientific research, yet there is not a single note about anatomical studies in the basement. This leads many to believe that a terrifying secret was deliberately concealed. Was Franklin more than just a scientist? Could he have been the keeper of some of history's darkest mysteries? Researchers insist that Franklin was not directly involved in the dissections, but given his deep curiosity and passion for science, it is difficult to believe he was entirely unaware of what was happening beneath his own home. Franklin's writings show that he had a strong interest in medicine and anatomy. He even helped establish the University of Pennsylvania, home to America's first medical school. This raises the question, was Franklin merely an observer, or was he actively participating in these experiments? More than 2 centuries later, the house has been converted into a museum, yet its mysteries remain unsolved. The skeletal remains discovered there are now displayed in a museum conference room, serving as eerie reminders of a bizarre and controversial chapter in medical history. Visitors have frequently reported strange occurrences, echoing footsteps in empty hallways, shadowy figures gliding past mirrors, and eerie sounds emanating from the basement at night. Are these the restless spirits of the unburied? Or are they simply the result of overactive imaginations influenced by the chilling story of the hidden skeletons? The true answer behind this case may forever remain buried in the darkness of history. But one thing is certain. 36 Craven Street will always be one of London's most haunted locations, where secrets still await discovery.